This is Professor Michael Chapman. I'm one of the most experienced IVF doctors in Australia. I believe that an important part that I can contribute is to educate patients in relation to fertility, infertility, and all that involves. These series of podcasts help to educate you. I hope they are helpful to you. If you wish to know more, however, I'm more than happy to have you contact me via email, which is profmchapman@gmail.com, or make an appointment to see me on 9138 4222. Specialists will talk about quality of eggs. What do they mean? It's the competency of that egg to fertilise with a sperm and ultimately produce a embryo and therefore a baby with the right number of chromosomes. The problem as women age is that the processes leading up to a mature egg to get the right number of chromosomes in the right place deteriorates. And many eggs, and increasing with age, have abnormal numbers of chromosomes. It's not the whole story, but it's a major part of the story. So that when the sperm, 23 chromosomes, come along and enter the egg and it doesn't have 23 chromosomes, it has 24 or 22 able to be fertilised, we end up with an abnormal embryo, which fortunately nature gets rid of 95% of them. Either not allowing implantation to occur, or miscarrying very early, the biochemical pregnancy, or in the 6 to 12 week mark, about 60 to 70% of miscarriages are due to genetic abnormalities of the baby. Those abnormalities are not related to the woman in terms of her genetic makeup or the man. They are always 95% due to those problems in the egg getting the right number of chromosomes lined up at the right time. So why is it that those chromosomes don't line up properly? During early years, in the 20s and early 30s, the chances of that are actually much, much less. They still happen, but nowhere near as much. So what we believe is that the energy sources that make things happen inside an egg, just like in every cell of our body, decline. In a sense, the batteries run out and the batteries become less in number. There's a tiny structure within every egg, and in fact in virtually all cells, called a mitochondria. And they're little bundles of energy producing material, enzymes, and they're the ones that produce the energy to make chromosomes move around within the egg. And as those batteries get less, then the malfunction of those processes that lead to the normal 23 chromosomes lining up, waiting expectantly for the boy's 23 chromosomes, it doesn't happen. They either don't form up at all, they don't get together at all. There's a structure inside the egg called a spindle. When we look down a microscope with polarised light, not normal light, but when we use polarised light, you can actually see this spindle. And what we know from my own team's research over many years is if that spindle is not there, or it hasn't formed properly at the time that we're expecting fertilisation to occur, you will not get fertilisation, or if you do, the embryo is unlikely to grow on to the 5-day embryo that we like to put back. So we can actually check that quality by using this technology. We have it in our own laboratory at Life Fertility. It's not common around Australia. I think there's one other place that it can be done, where we look at the eggs before we fertilise them, and we can see whether it's a good egg or not. It helps us in predicting the likelihood that a pregnancy is ever going to occur. We can't do anything about it, but it gives us a bit more information. Patients like as much information as possible when they persistently either get poor fertilisation rates, no fertilisation, or we put an embryo back and it doesn't go anywhere. So as women get older, the percentage of those abnormal spindles increases. And therefore, the eggs that are produced, albeit lower in number, are more likely to be abnormal, incompetent to produce a baby in the long term. That's the uphill fight we have in women over 40. It doesn't mean it can't happen. It just means the odds are much less than when you were 30. So if you're having problems and you're 40 plus and you're not getting good fertilizations, you're not getting good numbers of eggs, it's one of the areas I have a particular interest in, and happy to talk to you about it and perhaps us do some of the science that we've developed over the years.
And don't forget that you can access all the previous episodes by going to our website www.theivfjourney.com and select IVF Journey Podcast from the navigation menu.